All
on, man.
right. I don't know if let's make sure before I start talking, if we are live on Facebook because we weren't before live on Facebook. Let me know, guys, if we live. We are live. I'm seeing it. We weren't
Okay,
live
perfect.
before, but we are live now. All right. So whatever we were just talking about was not discussed, but welcome to the Realistic Real Podcast. We discuss real, raw, and relatable topics. Thank you so much for taking time to listen to our podcast today. Let's kick this off with some introductions. My name is John. What's your
My
names?
name. My name is what? My name is who? My
Hey,
name is what?
hey,
That's
Dr. Mike.
before that
Slim,
team. That's
Slim
before that
Shady,
time. That's before that time,
Yeah.
Mike. Dr.
I
Mike.
think they
Slim
know.
Let me not
Shady.
disrespect
Yeah.
They
Dr.
know.
Mike.
No. Don't you disrespect Slim Shady like that. Okay.
He
Gray
worked hard
Goose.
for that title.
Let me tell you something. And that man is amazing.
He
What's your
is.
name, sir? I don't know you. Who are
Grey
you?
Goose.
Gray Goose.
If you missed the
Gray
opening,
Goose.
we're talking about things that we're giving up, and or that I've
I'm
have
about to say,
given
speak
up.
for yourself.
You know,
You're
I've
giving
given
up.
up. Yeah,
Right.
just
So
Monday through Friday, and I let me just be honest. I'm about to go change my name. I failed, so I
wait.
failed.
So
Wait,
that means you
hold on.
drunk something.
I'm drinking right now. So
I
listen,
know. That's why you're not lying. You're
listen,
lying to
listen,
yourself at this point.
listen,
Everyone here knows that.
listen.
Yes. Go ahead.
It started out so good,
Mm-hmm.
but then work and life got so stressful. I'm just like, nah, I can't. I need something.
Need a release.
Hmm.
I need
Well,
a
you had
release.
cocaine. I mean, cocaine
That
or
could be worse.
Tiffany White
so there
lied.
are worse options that you could have proceeded to go for it in, and I
Listen,
appreciate you.
I did get, so the goal was hookah,
Uh-huh.
alcohol. I
Oh, you
did
giving up hookah?
I did during the week. I do not do it during the week. I
Oh,
did.
during the week. I'm about to
I've
say
been
you better stop
successful.
lying. You better stop lying on
Monday
this
through
here
So
outgoing
it's really
internet.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I only do it on the weekends. Only on the weekends.
Okay, that's
So
not much
so
of a
so
giving
what's the
up. But go
goal
ahead.
though?
Yeah, I don't
Like,
know what he's doing.
what's your
I was
purpose?
just trying to the ultimate goal was just to make sure I wasn't addicted to it or
There
whatever
you
it
go.
was.
Okay.
So that's the goal. And
Hey,
so
What's up,
Makita.
Marquita?
what's
Good
up,
to see you.
Marquita?
Yeah, it's just a weird thing that you're giving up, but not giving up at all. That's probably what the problem is that you're saying I'm giving these things up. I'm holding myself back for no reason at all.
Listen,
Okay.
one ain't bothered. It's just one.
Okay. So anyway, guys, we have actually already been on a podcast having a full episode conversation, and we had to end it because we were only on YouTube, and we want to make sure we were on Facebook and YouTube to have these conversations because we want to make sure our friends are talking to us about these conversations. We don't talk to ourselves only. We want to talk to you. But my question for the day.
There we go. Here we go.
Let's hop right into the question for
I'm
the day.
glad we didn't get that far yet.
Yes, because that would have
Yeah.
been awkward because we would have to relive that all over again. So my question for today is what is something that would have been a deal breaker for you when looking for a wife? What is something that would have been a deal breaker for you when looking for a wife? And I'll go first if you want me to go first because I already thought about the question. But if not, go ahead and hit it. What's something that is a deal breaker?
Mm.
You want me to go first?
Yeah,
Yeah,
go
you
ahead.
go first.
Okay. So a deal breaker for me in finding someone and locating someone as a spouse is if their teeth are not together. Like if they don't got their teeth together, if her smile is jacked up, if that tooth is going a little bit left and right and all that, and when they smile, I'm just like, oh God, and I kind of go back a little bit like that, then I don't think you could be somebody that I could actually marry and look
But
at for the rest
accidents
of my life.
happen.
Nah,
Huh?
them teeth over there looking like somebody just won a dominoes game. Just boom, they all over the place.
Or the teeth look like they're trying to run away from each other. Like they're just like, yo, I'm trying to scram you. Get away from me. I don't want to, I just think a jacked up smile is literally one of the worst things that I can't get. I can't get past it. I just cannot. Is there
Fact.
anything that if you saw, you just could not get past?
This is like basically when you're talking about like dating, even
Yeah, it's
like
basically
pretty
dating.
much. It's
Yeah.
like it's not gonna work.
Off the first meetup, what's something that if you saw? So I said a
If
wife
you-
because clearly y'all are married, but I'm just like, what's something that off the first date, if you experience it, you're like, yo, your smile though,
Oh, okay.
your
That-
smile or
if
your
you have
breath
an-
though, you know what I mean?
if you have an odor,
Mm.
and you don't shave, and you have like extra hair,
Oh
and you
God.
don't shave. So let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. This may be really petty, and I'm gonna be
Yeah.
really honest.
Go ahead and be you,
I
bro.
just feel like women shouldn't have hair under their underarms.
Like
Mhm.
it shouldn't
And I
exist.
feel like if
at
you're
all.
growing like a little bit of a beard and you know it's there, just shave it. It'll grow
Mm.
back thicker. Shave it again and
Mm.
keep shaving it. As long as you keep shaving it, you'll keep me. Like I just feel like I don't see like so like the it's like the odor and the excess hair under your underarms. It should just be non-existent, and then
Yeah.
we can get to where I think hair other parts the hair should exist. But
Mm.
that right there is just that's it. That's like yeah,
Problematic. It's problematic.
it is. I'm gone.
Yeah, I would say I would
I
say
changed it to
bad breath.
partner, just so y'all know. I changed it from wife to partner. So anyone
Yeah.
and guys, please chime in. Like if there's anything that you can't see past on a first date,
She
what's that
tried to
one
stab
thing?
me.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, oh yeah, that's a
I think
Patty
that's
cake,
an
but
easy
men
one.
have dirty nails. It's just nothing we can like.
That's not true.
I was about to say, don't
That's not
claim
true.
that.
You're
I'm
just
not claiming
Some
that.
men, I don't.
You're
I'm just saying, I don't have no nails at all.
Oh, you
so.
about the cape? You about the cape for him? So go ahead and
I don't have no
for him.
nails at all, so you can't say dirty. I don't have any nails.
All right, then don't cape for them then. Go ahead, Mike. What would you say?
I was saying bad breath.
Mm.
Like bad breath, man. If I could smell you
Halitosis.
across this table, if I could smell your gums across
my
this
God.
table, it's a whole problem.
There is
meal is
nothing
over.
worse than that. I'm sorry. Go ahead. There's
The
nothing
entire meal is over.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm good. You get what you want. I'm straight. I just can't even, matter of fact, sir, can you bring the check, please? Shorty,
Yeah.
you gonna go ahead and pay for this. It was great meeting you,
Oh,
friend.
you gonna make her pay? You gonna make her pay?
Yo, your breath. Your
You
breath.
called her-
paid.
you
I
called- Mike
said
called her
to your
friend.
breath.
Mike called
I
her friend.
paid.
You're now my
Friend.
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 Yo, Mike keep using friend in every. Mike uses friend in every sentence. After the breath smell, he's like,
It's
"You
all
such a
good,
good friend
friend."
to me."
If I can smell your inner throat, it's over.
Yes.
I agree with
Yes.
that.
Listen, I feel like they be the ones that be wanting to have all the syllables, like
Oh,
everything
All
has an
the
H
all
in
the
front of it.
S's. Yeah,
All
H's
of
and S's.
the-
Yeah,
Like,
everything to talk about.
and then all of the vowels now have an H. Like,
yeah,
how you doing?
yeah,
And
yeah.
and then like, are you mad at me? It's are you mad at me? It's not are you mad at me? It's are
Get
you
the
mad
H
at
out
me?
of there. Get the
Yeah,
H
it's
out
just
of
everything.
there. Yeah.
Are you mad at me?
Yeah.
Yes, I am.
Yeah,
'Cause
yeah,
you
yeah.
are.
Yes,
Yeah.
Yeah. No, what's funny about this story is that I think we talked about this before in the podcast.
we did last week about one of our
No,
mutual friends.
I didn't. Okay, but no, you're going right now. I'm not. I'm not.
I'm gonna
not.
go there because
Flag on the play, bro.
Uh-oh.
I'm not going with you, Terrence. I will not go. I wasn't even about to say
only because
that.
you know who I'm talking about, and I'm just like,
Terrence gonna talk about somebody that has halitosis. I think as an actual struggle in that person's life. I'm not even gonna say I'm not even gonna say their pronoun. I'm just saying as in that person's life.
and I'd be like, see, we're going to, but yeah, is your wife coming? I need to prepare myself because your wife's breath stink. So I need to prepare myself.
Not
Like,
because I want to talk to
is
her.
she coming? Like, I just need to know. Like, is she gonna be there? So,
What I was about to say was those moments where you remember when you would go to school and somebody be like this is just real life, like back when you was younger and you forgot to put deodorant on.
yeah.
And you go to school and somebody be like, yo, what is that smell, young? Like, what is that?
Dang.
And you gotta kind of be like, well, let me help investigate who it is. And then you find out it's you, and you remember at that exact moment that you did not put deodorant on. And it's the heat of the summer. It's about to get out for summer out of school for the summer.
Yeah.
What do you do, bro?
That's never happened to me. My hygiene was always
You lying. You are lying.
I work at a middle school, so the hygiene of middle schoolers is atrocious.
All teenagers stink.
I'm saying every teenager has had that one day where they've gone to school and it didn't smell right. They forgot to put deodorant on. It just happens. Okay, you literally washed everything. You washed up and you hopped in the car, or bus or whatever, got to school, went through your day, and realized at the middle of the day I don't have deodorant, and you smell like a garbage truck, right? And everyone knows it. I'm just like, yo, what do you do?
Go to the nurse's office. I'm not feeling so good.
You better
something
fake
wrong with
it.
my stomach. Can I
You
call
better
my
fake it.
mom?
Because it is what it is.
Yeah.
Because people start saying what that smell is, and then when they find out, let's not act like when bullying is not real. When they find out it's you, oh my God, the last thing you want to do is be the one that be like they pinpoint the smell on you and be like, oh my God,
kids are horrible.
oh my God, Michael, they are terrible.
Forever
you
be
get
known
flagged as a dirty
the
boy
one that's
forever
in that class. Yeah,
You'll be forever known as dirty boy or disgusting man. Like, oh, you're disgusting. And like they used to have the best ways of coming up with the worst nicknames to make you feel horrible about yourself. Like man, listen, I'm serious.
I think as you get up in age, like as we've gotten older, we've forgotten the ways of being able to make fun of somebody like that. I feel like as a teenager, man, it's just they just got all the crazy things to say, and I'm just like, yo.
It's this kid in my school. They call him Kevin Tart because he stinks so bad. So they be calling that man
Kevin what?
Kevin Tart. Kevin Tart. Like
not Kevin Tart.
Terrible. See what I'm saying?
That's so rude.
And it's like I be trying not to laugh because you can't. I can't not laugh, but I'm like, it's funny. Like
Terrence, you are immature. There is absolutely no way you do not laugh at that. I know you. You be over there giggling and chuckling to yourself.
I don't do it in front of his face though. They be like, "Ooh, bro, you got to sit next to Kevin Tart. You got to sit next to Kevin Tart." Like, is he in my testing group? I hope I don't got to test with him.
Just because you don't do it in their face, that kid knows that you over there giggling.
I do it behind his back though. I do it behind his back, like
Every time they say Kevin Tart, Terrence excuses himself for the table. Like, all right, guys, it's good to see y'all.
It'd be like a joke. Oh, you don't want to go to class? That's fine. Yeah. I'm gonna give Kevin Tart your phone number. Oh, I'm going.
Let me tell you something. As a black man that is blackly black, right, and wasn't popular to be blackly black back in the day. There was nothing worse than when a girl used to be like, "You and John go together." They'd be like, "Oh my God, you go with John? He's so black."
You're not even that dark though, so it's like,
well, that's what I used to think. I used to say that, but they was like, "No, nigga, you black.
You black.
No. You so black, you purple." I mean, I heard it all. I was like, "God dang, y'all, back up, leave me alone."
Just ruthless with it.
That's why I told y'all every time we talk about this. When I got to college and people was like, "Ooh, look at you, dark skin," I'm like, I'm looking around like, who they talking to? They ain't talking about my ugly black
when did this become a thing? Like,
when did we get in? I was like, we was never.
I think dark skin became in with Morris Chestnut, though, right?
I don't know, T.
When
did he become popular? Because I felt like I was.
He wasn't popular.
I felt like I was ugly most of my life.
No, because nobody cared about him and Boys in the Hood. But when The Best Man came out, that's when dark skin became like a thing.
Okay, but let me say this: Genuine made Michael's complexion look like amazing. Just so we're clear.
Yeah.
So true. all Mike had to do was just kind of do a little jiggle walk and then go in the room, and chicks was
I'm gonna need you not to, John. I'm gonna be very clear. There's a lot of things that I don't want to see again.
You don't want to see that again?
I don't want to see that ever again.
I'm just saying. I can understand that.
You're in front of your chair, gyrating in front of this microphone. I don't ever want to see it. Like
when Mike jiggled into the room.
No.
When Mike jiggled into the room. Can we?
No, sir. I did not jiggle. No.
When Mike, you jiggle in front of rooms now?
Yes. Jiggled then. I don't jiggle now.
I just want to say, Mike. I just want to be very clear, and I know he's married. I just want Renee, if she ever hears this, he's jiggling into rooms. So I just want you to know.
When Mike came in, jiggling the differences or in those jeans. Okay.
I hate you.
he was the man. Miss Patty Cake says, dark skin been in for me. Well, let me tell you something, Miss Patty Cake. That was not the case when I was in school. They were teasing the F out of me. I'm talking about these people were running. They were going in on your boy. Here's another one. I have one other question of the day. Name something that the opposite sex do right now that you're tired of seeing.
I'm ready. I'm ready. I am ready.
Terrence, are you ready? I want to put up some
images on the screen.
Oh,
I am ready.
Say it, T.
Listen. These BBL surgeries and these lashes gotta go. They got to go now. First of all, these Betty. It's not even all the lashes. It's the Betty Boop ones. The ones where you blink and you slap me with your lash
And I feel a fan
it's
is
gotta
on me.
go.
Yeah.
And I want to know who told them that this was cute.
Yeah.
I really want to know. Like, I want to know, like, where did this come from? I just don't know who.
Don't let something be in their eye. I feel like an air conditioner just came on. It's just like, oh my God, stop blowing this air on me. It's just ridiculous. I agree with you, T. The eyelashes, oh my God. I mean, they're like little hands. The little hands.
It's not, and like everybody's getting them.
I feel like
and what people don't see is middle school kids
to hold them things up. Your eyelids and the thing is super strong, bro.
Some celebrities can afford the really good ones. So the knockoff ones are just not it. Like, so you understand that you look like, and the thing is, as ugly as you already look, you put those on, you are even uglier. And so now you just you really look like you should be behind a kettle pot boiling something because you look like a witch. You look very scary. So you've gone from ugly to terrifying. You've gone from ugly to terrifying. To terrifying.
I think
it mixes with these BBL surgeries, and I know I had a video someplace.
I'm sorry, what does BBL stand for? Because I keep
Brazilian butt lift.
Is that what it is?
I think so.
Brazilian butt lift. Okay. Because I keep saying BBLs, and I don't really know what it. I'm not gonna lie.
Big busted lady, because they busted. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. It's not attractive.
So if they rearrange it such that their assets are accentuated properly, there's no positive BBL for you that you've seen. That's
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. Like,
it's crazy because I feel like I could always spot it like a mile away. Like whenever somebody gets it, it's like you messed up, kid. Because now it don't look natural. Like
thank you, Mike. And they're going too far with it. Like to me, one of the best things about like is proportion. Like proportion. And you know how women be like, if you big up top and then your legs look real skinny, you look stupid. That's how y'all look right now. It's like it's not it's too much. People are, and girls are dying. Girls are dying
because they're getting the discounted ones. That's what
they're going like to foreign countries. And the one girl, she just came back from Costa Rica and she died, and she had a daughter. I'm like, all for what?
Ain't even
for a booty to be moved to some other,
okay.
or her stomach to be moved. I don't love it. I'm not gonna lie, I don't love it, but I also at the same time, I guess I can understand why women do it, because it's the easiest and quickest way to go from what you look like to what you wanted to look like in like a day.
No.
So I get why women do it, but it's just I don't like it. It's not for me. I'm not into it. To me, I'd rather see a woman gradually put in the work to like get there than to like actually like pay for a surgery to do it. I would rather, personally.
And see, and I'm listen. I'm okay. I'm actually like low key kind of okay with, like, if you want to like get your stomach removed, whatever it is, because here's the thing with that, because sometimes losing the weight is not the same. Like it doesn't. You won't end up looking like how you want to look just because you lost the weight. Now the body, like the skin, I'm okay with that. Like I get all that. I get it for health reasons. I'm okay with that. Like I'm not opposed to that, whatever it is. Like, but the other stuff where you don't have a butt and now you have a butt, there's nothing health related towards that. It's not for health reasons. It's not like it's just you're not proportionate.
You just want your body to look different. And listen, if I could overnight make my body look different, I ain't gonna lie to you. I might have abs. I'm not gonna lie to you. I might come out this show like killing it.
Like, John, you look good. At the sketch on real quick.
I'd be out here killing it right now. I mean, and it's so interesting because I think obviously I don't think guys do. I don't think this is something guys do, actually. I don't think guys
so I'm getting it. They said the thing is the thing right now. I'm getting my hair back. So I'm just
Terrence.
I've said this before. That's okay. Not next episode, but 3 episodes from now, you're gonna see me back with my 360 waves. I'm not gonna be bald anymore.
So
I'm gonna have it. Are you? Is that okay?
No, nigga, no.
If I got my hair back, is y'all gonna say something?
Terrence, if you have anything close to a hairline, I'm leaving you on site.
Why? If they paying for the BBL, what's the difference?
I want to be very clear. I'm dapping you up and I'm going back home.
Women wear wigs. Women wear wigs all the time. Women wear wigs.
Terrence, I don't care if we're in Atlanta. I don't care if we're in Philly. I don't care where we are. New York. If
I
you
do not like green eggs and ham. I do not like green eggs and ham.
If I walk up and you have more hair than me, or the same amount of hair than me, or less hair than me, if you have any hair on your head at all, I'm leaving you on site. I just want to make sure that's very.
I'm about
to
have a mean Caesar, yo. I'm about to come back with a mean Caesar.
Men have talked about it.
It's gonna be.
It wouldn't be weird for you to do. Question for you. This is something I saw on TikTok, and I really liked the way they went about it. What do you think about this?
Something people are not ready to hear. I'll go first.
Telling men that they should be providers is a form of misandry. Because it's an old gender role, is it not? And you assuming men should provide for you solely because they are men is a form of misandry. Just like if a man tell you your ass to stay in the house and cook and clean and take care of the kids is a form of misogyny, you assuming he should provide for you is a form of misandry. It's an old gender role. Get over it. Also, going 50-50 means that the man see you as his equal. Why do some of y'all get upset when the man asks you to go 50-50? Y'all want to be equal in everything else but finances. So you don't want to be the man's equal when it comes to finances. Okay. I still say what I said.
That is something.
Yeah.
It was the bow at the end.
Yeah. Yeah, so I was like, man, what's something that if you said it's like, yo, people would not agree with, and I was like, that's an interesting thought right there, because we talked last week a little bit about feminism and what have you, and we talked about the roles, right, and the idea of roles, and I am really trying to honestly reflectively think about what are the roles that are supposed to stay and what are the roles that are supposed to go, because I don't know. I'm a little lost. Because roles in the way things are right now is like, okay, men are supposed to still provide for their families, take care of their families, and you're not a man until you do those things. But also, women can be in the whole idea of equality. They can take care of men now, and they can be able to be all the things that a man is. So it's just like, are we letting the gender roles go, or are we keeping the gender roles in place? And I don't really know.
It's a good topic.
It's like what some Christians do with the Bible. They pick and choose whatever scriptures they want to believe in, and yet throw out the rest, right? So that's what I compare it to. That's the first thing that came to mind. Like I feel like people want to be the equal, folks want to be equal, but yet when it comes to certain things, like you said, like money, we don't have to be equal in that. We can go ahead and let you bring in all the money. Oh, when it comes to providing, I can provide for myself and have my own bag to the side, but you go ahead and provide for the house. You know what I'm saying? Like, people just picking and choosing. So
but here's my issue with it is that when we talk about this all the time, a little bit on this podcast, but it's rudimentary towards like, how do I, like, if I had a son, how would I tell my son how to be a man in a culture that is ever evolving on what a man is? And how do I tell my son, like, hey, man, you're supposed to take care of your wife and your girl. You're supposed to be the provider, da-da-da. Is that even still the same thing? Or is it like, no. She's supposed to be out there with you, holding it down. She's supposed to be out there cutting wood down with you. She's supposed to be out there making more money than you. Like, she's sitting at home, she's lazy, or is she sitting at home and she's doing the right thing, take care of her family? Like, what are the roles that we're kind of going with? We kind of like pick, like you just said, like picking and choosing which roles make sense, which roles don't. So I just kind of get confused here.
I still think equity answers all these questions and not equality. Like, and this is, I can't speak about it. This is how I want it to be. In other words, like if I'm with a woman and she decided to go to medical school to be a doctor, and my passion was to be a teacher, you're gonna make more than me, and we end up liking each other and fall in love with whatever it is. Mm-hmm. Do I need to now pay more bills because your career path provided you more money than mine did? So it's equitable if you pay more of the bills. Not even 50-50. It's equitable, However, as a man, I'm assuming in most cases, whatever it is, outside of some type of, genetics or like injury, whatever it is, I'm stronger than you. So when it comes to carrying these large items in the house, we're not equal. I'm physically stronger than you. I should have the responsibility of going into the car and getting these large items out of the car to get them in the house. I should be, I think that's where it's equity things. Physically, I'm more capable of doing it. I don't think there's anything wrong with, like, I'm divided on, like, a man should those things trickle into he should always pump your gas, and he should always go out to make sure you get an oil change and change your tires. I'm not opposed to. I mean, I'm not opposed to doing that. Whatever it is, I get that. But I always think here's an equity thing. What if she's a licensed mechanic? What if she went to school to be a mechanic? Now, am I at this point responsible for like?
If she's a licensed mechanic, can you sit in the car while she changes the tire?
Oh shoot!
Let me tell you, when I roll by, I'm like, "Boo, Terrence sucks." Terrence sucks.
I agree. I agree.
And it's funny because it's like, although she under the equity guise, although she should be the person doing it because she's the most knowledgeable, I guess, of that field. It really, you look like less of a man sitting in that car with the AC on, waiting for her to change that tire.
But John, you know our species. We'll be like, I'm a man. I know what's wrong with this car. What you talk about? No, it just need an air filter. And she's sitting here telling you, no, it doesn't need more than an air filter. Actually, your entire alternator is about to go out. No, you don't know what you're talking about. No, I've been doing this my whole life. Sir, I'm trained in this. I'm telling you. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like,
it's interesting because it does get tricky when it comes to culture. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, that's like, for instance, so Renee, she's a trained fitness instructor, right?
Oh, make sure you say who Renee is, because everybody.
Renee's my wife, y'all. So she's a trained fitness instructor, but for me to go down here, because I've been working out all my life, or majority of my life, and thinking I know stuff and know how my body works. Yeah, that's true. But when it comes to the science, when it comes to the education that she's received, the certifications that she's received in reference to this, I should be able to go to her and be like, hey, or if she offers advice, I should be able to be willingly like accept that. But pride side of me is like, oh, I got this. I know what I'm doing, this, that, and the third, until, I pull a muscle or something like that. And she looking at me like, I told you so.
I told you. Yeah. I told you so. Yeah. No, I just think it's an interesting conversation because I love that. I love when women, and we'll talk a little bit more about this later, but I love when women illustrate or highlight the contradictions within their own theories that under the guise of like, we're trying to be equal, or all the case may be. But do we really want to be equal when it comes to, like she just mentioned, like the bill? Like you don't want, if we're going out on a date, you don't want to be 50-50, right? You want the traditional male roles of a man saying, no, I got it. I'll take care of it. Like, let's be real, in dating, like the first couple of dates, I believe a man should be paying for that. Like, I don't think a man that's pursuing a woman should just be like, nah, let's go Dutch every time. That's weird.
Yeah. I'm like so hardcore with it. I don't think a woman should pay for a date until they're like in a serious relationship. And I'm not saying that's right.
Yeah.
That's just my energy,
I disagree with all of that. I think if we're both like interested in each other, and it all depends on who initiated. If I initiated the date with you, then I am under the guise that, okay, I'm going to pay for this date. I asked you to go out. So I should be at least in the mindset of, okay, I'm expecting to pay for this. But if you ask me to go out, if you say, hey, do you want to go out with me to X, Y, and Z, and then I still got to pay for it, I'm like, that's kind of weird, like, in my opinion. So I feel like if we're both interested in each other and we're both, dating each other, then there should be times where we go 50-50. There should be times where, hey, you offer, or, offer, whatever.
Is it weird that if you say, hey, I want to go on a date, and then like, let's say you initiated, like you just said, is it weird for you to be like, yeah, let's go Dutch? Like, is that weird in your instance? Because you're saying at first, going Dutch means we splitting the check. Is that weird to you, or is it like, because I feel like there's some nuance. I mean, I hear what you're saying, but I think if you go on a date and you are the initiator of it, and you say at the end of the day, all right, your amount was $32.65, and she's like, you asked me to go on a date. I think that's a nice little contentious argument that can happen from that conversation, because you didn't have a conversation about it. You just like, well, I asked you to go, but I mean, you ordered, and or hear me out, Mike. What if she orders up the menu? You asked her to go out, and she's like, cool, no problem. I'm gonna have the lobster, the steak. I'm gonna have also the crab cakes. And I also want to make sure I have some scallops. Please, it shouldn't be the bill is no less than 100,
That's perfect,
125 for
John.
her
That's
end.
perfect. Because what you created in that moment, I think that's perfect, John. And I think he shouldn't have an issue with that. What she created in that moment was the perfect time for you to go use the bathroom and not come back. So I'm like, I don't see the problem with that. Once I see you doing that, you gave me my exit. I'm leaving. Yeah. And you not only are you getting that stuff, you're getting my stuff.
For mine too.
What?
Yeah.
It's I actually knew people that do that. They did stuff like that. Go ahead, Mike. I'm sorry.
So I think it's situations like that where like communication is key, right? Sure. If I have to be honest with myself, my budget, and what I'm capable of paying for, what I can afford, to say, okay, hey, let's really talk about this. I would really like for us to go to this place with each other. I want to experience this with you, but I can only afford X, Y, and Z. Hey, are you willing to go Dutch? Like that's a question that should be up front. Like if you know, like up front, you ain't got it type thing. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Now from there, for me, it would determine where that relationship goes. Because if I come up front with you and say, hey, this is where I am with it, I would like to experience whatever this is with you, but only if we go Dutch. Are you cool with that? And she'd be like, nah, I'm gonna pass based off of, not off of like I can't afford it type thing, or she can't afford it, or she ended up starting to argument with me about like, oh, you being cheap and this, that, and the third. I don't think it's gonna work out. Okay, cool, that's fine. Because that shows me where like her head was in it. That shows me where her heart is in it too. Like you ain't even hear my heart in the fact that like I legit wanted to experience whatever this thing was, whether we go to, let's say if we take a trip to Florida or something like that. We take a trip to Florida, we go down there, we're spending like a week down there or whatever like that. But I know right now in my state of employment or where my bag is right now, I can't afford it by myself. Can you go Dutch? And you'd be like, nah, you supposed to be paying for that. Then I'm like, you know what? Nah, it's cool. I'm good.
You wouldn't go out with that person. You'd be
I wouldn't. I wouldn't. Yeah, your decision in that moment told me where your heart was about me and towards us and our relationship. To me,
it's interesting. It's interesting that you say that, because I feel like what culture is teaching, at least a lot now on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, whatever, is like this idea that, hey, he's supposed to take care of this. If he doesn't take care of this, and girl, that's a red flag, run. Like that's a lot of the culture of thought process.
And I can sit here and like, I'm not about to sit here and boast about my bag, because if I wanted to go out here and do something, I know I can afford it and I know I can do it. It's not a matter of like what I can do, but I really want to see what I can do with this person that could potentially be like a mate for the rest of my life. Yeah. And I need to see where your mind and your heart is towards like me. Are you here for me, or are you here for my assets? Are you here for what I can bring to the table in reference to like monetary value? You feel me?
Yeah, and Jeremiah, that's why I wanted to make sure I define what Dutch means, because Dutch means you're going to go half, 50-50. All right. I knew what it was because I was like, hey, sis, we going half on this. All right.
I'm curious to know where that comes from, though.
I don't know.
Going Dutch.
I don't know what
like,
the origin of Dutch is. Yeah, but I mean, that's what it meant. But going back to what you were saying, I mean, it's the ideology for me that's kind of crazy to me about how I think people are going about it. It's like, you have to be a provider. You got to be able to have a lot of money, have excess of money, and be able to take care of whatever they want, right? Yeah. You got to be flown out. You got to be taken care of financially. And as for a woman to man, that's a red flag in the way things are. So it's curious, because I'm like, man, like, how do I even train my daughters to interact with men, or what to look for within men, considering these new power dynamics that we try to create within roles, gender roles,
Yeah.
So
it's
a very interesting conversation.
I also feel the issue in this topic where I have a problem with, at least most topics, these are opinionated. These are preferences. Date your preference. Well, these are not right and wrongs. And that's the only time I have an issue, is when one gets put in the category is right or wrong. It's not right or wrong. I see different than Mike in this topic. It's not the right or wrong. It's preference. Yeah. And it's perfectly okay for you to have a preference on whether I want a man who always pays, or I'm okay with paying if I ask you out. Just okay, cool. So now if that's how you are, you know who you what you after. I think it does become an issue is when you try to date the opposite of what you are and try to convince them why you're right and want them to be on your side. Nah, that's not how this works. That's not for you. Date somebody else. Like, you know?
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree with what you're saying there, T.
That's a good way to, like, I guess, view how, you know, how people can build these cultural stigmas or like cultural like rules, end all be all type situation. At the end of the day, that's still an opinion. That's an opinion on like how somebody chooses to live. If they choose to live by, you know, these morals, this culture, X, Y, and Z, then let them do that. You know what I'm saying? Don't try to force that upon somebody else, or state, like you were saying, Terrence, like state that they're wrong for not supporting whatever this cultural stigma is. You feel me?
Yeah, I agree. So over the weekend, guys, 13 people were shot. 11 of them were African American. 13 people of 11 whom are African American were shot, according to city officials who have said the massacre was racially motivated, pointing in part to racist writing perpetually. I don't know if that's the word, but by the suspect. 10 were killed, while 3 victims suffered non-life-threatening injuries. The suspect, identified as Peyton Gendron, an 18-year-old white man, surrendered to police. He has pleaded not guilty to a charge of first-degree murder, which is odd, per Buffalo City Court Chief Judge Craig Hannon. And skipping ahead, the shooting unfolded when the suspect arrived at the Tops 5 Friendly Market supermarket on Jefferson Avenue about 2:30 p.m. Saturday. He was very heavily armed. He had tactical gear, he had tactical helmet on, and he had a camera that was live streaming what he was doing. The suspect first opened fire in the store's parking lot, per authorities, shooting 4 people. 3 of those people died, while another is expected to survive. The suspect went inside the store and began shooting customers, police said. A security guard inside the store, who was a retired Buffalo police officer, shot the suspect. But because the suspect wore heavy armor, the bullets did not have any effect. The suspect shot and killed the security guard and continued working his way through the store. The commissioner said when people arrived, the suspect put his gun to his neck, but later dropped the gun and took off some of his gear. And then he surrendered to the police. It was a racially motivated, basically all-out assault on people at a grocery store in Buffalo. A lot of older people passed away or were killed from this young white guy. He traveled, I think, about 4 hours away. And from what I understand, he actually Googled and looked to see where he could go to kill people that did not have the the type of laws that would stop them from being, like some places you can like carry, right, open carry or whatever.
Whoa.
And he like looked to see where he could go where they would not be open carry, and went to that space or with that location where there's also a lot of black people would be populated, and decided to go to the parking lot, go live on Twitch, and start assassinating black people. I don't know if you guys are familiar with this story. It just happened this past weekend, but the reason I'm bringing it up was just because it happened to our community. Our black people were just literally gunned down for being black. And
mass shootings is rare. I mean, mass shootings usually are other than that church incident that happened with, I think his name was Dylan Roof years ago. It's usually like rare, and so I mean what bothers me is some of the video. You saw the video of him pointing the gun at a white person and he's saying, "I'm sorry."
Yeah, that was on, right?
And he moved on. He said, "Oh, I'm sorry," and he moved on. So it was very clear he was hunting just for black people, whatever it is. And so it's one of those things where it's just like you try to give people the benefit of the doubt. Like I try to give police officers everything the benefit of the doubt. But again, this guy, we know he did it. We know he's armed, etc. He comes out without one scratch. Meanwhile, a black person just chilling in the house. You're not even sure if they're the suspect or not, or whatever it is. And they can't even live.
Even if they had gotten word that he was armed and dangerous, they still go in guns and blaze, right?
Yeah.
And
it's just like I don't understand.
Yeah, this guy was blatantly out here in tactical gear, shooting up folks in a supermarket parking lot, and proceeded into the building to continue to do whatever he was doing.
Yeah.
There, in my opinion, I don't see how he is still alive. I don't see how he's still alive. And I
Are you saying they should have went in and shot, even though he because they said he put the gun to himself? So should he have not? I mean, should they have shot him when he put the gun to himself? Is that what you're saying?
That's different. That is different. I didn't know about that. I didn't know he like put the gun to himself too.
I mean, that's what the report said. I don't know how true it is, but that's what the report said.
Right. But and again, I'm not a trained professional. I'm not a police officer. I'm not none of that, right? But I'm just thinking from based off of previous situations that have happened, whether it's in mass shootings. Oh no, forget mass shootings. I'm talking about like within the community of like people going somewhere with a gun, choosing to, try to do harm to somebody else. And then officers come in or law enforcement come in and they have to take drastic measures. And all of a sudden we got a black person that's dead, right? Whether they got a gun or not. That's kind of where my opinion is coming from. It was like, yo, I don't see how he's still alive right now. And maybe that's because trainings and all that other stuff are getting better with identifying certain situations under pressure. If he decided,
doubt, Mike, I like that. You're giving him the benefit of the doubt. Everything says the fact that he's white. Everything because, and I always go back to January 6th. If a bunch of niggas stormed the United States Capitol,
they will be taking
understand. Listen, do you understand? Like,
I mean, they would have just actually bought the daggone the whole what's the joint that they drive when they just hit missiles with the joint. It would have been missiles going towards the Capitol.
Like,
kill all of them at once.
You gotta get these Negroes under control. Like,
what? They don't fear us enough. Like,
so shameless plug, real quick. We didn't do Netflix and chill. It's so funny to talk about that, Mike. Is I had a chance to start the Baltimore show that's on HBO right now. We own the night.
We own the night. There you go.
We own. We own. No, I'm sorry. We own this city. We own this city because there's a movie called We Own the Night. We Own This City about the real life account of happened with police corruption and everything in Baltimore City, which is my city, right? And so, I'm talking to a friend of mine who's a police officer. He's like, I know some of these dudes, So me and him were talking. He's like, I knew some of these dudes. He said this joint is really authentic. I'm like, man. He's like, yeah. He's like, T, it's authentic. Like, makes it so it's just like I'm seeing that about the level of like corruption, whatever it is, and how police officers with. And the thing is, I've never been arrested. I've never had other than being pulled over. I've never had too many negative interactions with police officers, and so I always lean in with a side of, well, let me assume there's like a different. There's got to be a reason, but look, the math ain't mathing. No. Like this dude literally walked out with everything.
I don't know. I mean, I hear what you're saying. We're saying the math and mathing, but I mean, I'm just confused as to what we're saying. We're looking for. We're looking for equality as far as how they treat black people to like them gunning them down.
So I am. Let me kind of get back to. Let me get back to what I was saying. Right. I know it kind of seemed like I was trying to make it make sense and trying to be nice, quote unquote. I was speaking all of those things at first because those are the things that people are going to try to use to justify the situation for this man still being alive.
Got you. Okay.
Right. So even if, again, after all this police brutality stuff has happened and people getting shot that have not deserved like death from a gun, right, from an officer or whatever, they'll try to use the fact that, okay, yeah, we've gotten better with trainings where we can properly identify under pressure, that these things have happened, or this person is going through some sort of psychotic episode or whatever like that. He's not in his right mind, whatever the case. Forget all of that. Let's talk about, like Brandy was saying, the guy, I think he was the one that had the stuff written on the gun, like the tip of the gun, the racial slurs on the gun. Like there's a specific mindset you got to have to like pick certain areas. He picked out a specific area to go to try to kill all these people, to make sure nobody in the area had other guns or they weren't allowed to have guns but him, right? and then the video of him, with the white guy say, "Oh, my bad," and just like scooting over and shooting other people, like blatantly shooting black people. So forget the fact that trainings and stuff happen. Forget the fact that things are getting better. Like the fact that he walked away from it. It's really weird to me, because he's a white man. If that was a black man, like y'all was saying, like he would not be alive. He would be in a casket somewhere.
Yeah. It's very unfortunate. It's very unfortunate. I mean, there's no other way of categorizing it. It's very. I could not even stomach because I had considered going to Twitch or wherever they were doing the live video and seeing whatever he had did or whatever the case may be. Because normally it's kind of like you feel like you're watching like a movie, right? When you see these type of things, like, it doesn't feel real. But I'm trying to get to the point where I watch this stuff and realize these are actual lives being taken. Like I'm trying to put myself in their shoes. If I go to Target, you know what I'm saying, earlier today or whatever, I just run down my family or my, you know what I mean? Like I'm like, that's not okay, and I think that to your point, Mike, or even T, it's like, yo, this inequality towards race, this idea that somebody could hate people so much that he will go and hit random people of skin color, to me, it's just it's unthinkable. It really is truly unthinkable, and I just couldn't think.
It's situations like that where, like, because I attend church regularly, right? I find myself looking at the door every time somebody walk through this joint, and not like thinking like they're gonna come through with a gun, but I think like, what if, right? What would I do in a situation like that? Would I be in a position to even help? Right?
No. Now they got an AR-15, like Mike. I mean, that's let's be real.
But I'm just thinking, like, from my mentality of like, if I can do something about it to save a life or something like that, then I would try, right? But to that point, like, what could I really do? And that's such a scary place to be in nowadays, where like you got to have security at churches, you got to have feel as though you got to have something on you to protect yourself just because you're trying to be out here and live life. There are times where I don't want to travel to certain places no more because of situations like this. Right.
This is why I think the law of has to change. Like we all got to be able to carry. I mean, that's just really to see something. Like think about it, if the laws was all right, it's cool for everybody to have a license to carry. This dude would have shot one person and been dead because everybody would have had a gun, and would have shot back, and would have protected themselves.
See, I'm very.
And I don't love it. I don't love it, but I'm just saying that. It's just like I can't imagine you just going out and just killing a bunch of people, and I'm like, I'm running. Nah, I'm shooting back, bro.
I saw somebody post, like, to be honest, he I don't care if they didn't have concealed carry, whatever it is. He ain't pulling up to New York City like that. Like I'm waiting for the day that somebody has this energy, no offense, to pull up in the middle of the hood. They don't go to like the hood.
No,
and do this stuff.
They want to live to tell a story.
That's my thing, because he already know, like, they ain't got concealed carry, but them niggas carry. So like, it's not licensed, but they got it. Like what I'm saying. And so I agree. The laws have to change. I'm always worried about that though, because like I think one of the things I think we're at a point where we should talk about raising the age limit. I don't think people can get it illegally, but legally, I don't think that young people. I don't think 18 is a. I just don't think. I actually think it should be 25, to be honest, because my biggest fear is even with concealed carry. Like I'm even with me, and I'm like rational, but sometimes I could be irrational, and I get in the middle of an argument, and because I got a concealed carry, and the fight breaks out, and I'm shooting somebody. You know, that makes sense. That's my biggest fear. But I do tend to, because what you're talking about, John, is political spectrum. I do tend to lean more Republican when it comes to guns. I do tend to lean more that way. Yeah, and
they wouldn't have got away. You would not have gotten away with this crime. These mass murders just don't happen and won't happen in a climate where everybody is armed. You have to think differently about how you come into a grocery store or a church or whatever, because everybody's armed. So as soon as you come in there acting crazy, everybody's shooting you, not just you know what I'm saying? And so you don't get 8 shots, 10 shots. Now, what I will say, and I disagree with, is the idea that teachers should go and have to do that. But but at the same time, if they want the same protections, I understand why. Like, I mean, the world is crazy where you think you can just go to a grocery store in the middle of the day where
because what's stopping them, John? Watch this. Honestly, what's stopping them from saying, and somebody is that sadistic, I'll just go to this school. Because I know at this point I'm going to run into nothing but black people. Who I know for a fact they can't carry because they're too young, and I'm just going to air off in this school. Like, you know, it's just
I can't imagine.
And I don't know. I don't know the statistics of like open carry states, but Virginia, I don't hear a whole lot about mass shootings and like, you know, like shooting situations happen in Virginia. I'm just speaking of like my local DMV area. I don't hear a whole lot about that in that area. Maybe I'm just not catching on the news, whatever the case. But they are, to my knowledge, they're an open carry state. And I sit back and think, I'm like, you know what? Knowing that you're in an open carry state, people, I bet they are going to be friendly. Hey, neighbor, how you doing? You know, how's okay, cool, yeah, okay.
How you doing?
Yeah, oh, I see you carrying that revolver there. Okay, that's nice. I got one just like it. All right, you have
I made you a pumpkin pie.
Yeah. Oh, here you go. Here you go. Yeah.
I got it. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Mike.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm good.
No,
I'm good.
So I get what you're saying. Like, in a space where that is the energy, you definitely ain't gonna come in there like F you then. You're just not gonna have that energy because you definitely
gonna restrain.
Oh, F me. Like, it's just gonna end differently for you, right? I want to get into the last topic because I don't want to be on all night, but we want to make sure we hit this topic. The U.S. Department of Homeland Security is anticipating a surge of violence if the Supreme Court ultimately overturns Roe versus Wade, which is the whole abortion thing, according to a leaked memo sent last week. The May 13th unclassified memo cites social media threats to Supreme Court justices, other public officials, and healthcare providers. It says such threats are likely to persist and may increase leading up to and following the issuing of the court's official ruling. The court is expected to make its official decision in May or June. The memo also warned that violent extremists might target companies that manufacture or sell abortion-related medications and organizations that fund and facilitate travel for those seeking abortions. If you guys didn't know, there were some companies that were aligning themselves with people that want to do abortions and saying, if you want to go to a state where abortions are legal, we will help fund you getting to that state to go do and perform that abortion. So the obviously the topic of today was, can men tell women to not have abortions? No. And I just want to know.
No.
What y'all think?
We need to STF you forever. That's just my opinion. We need to shut the heck up forever.
Why do you say that to you?
So I will say two things. And that's this actually goes back to your thing earlier. What is something that you want to say that people will be like, that people will be shocked if you said it? I am a firm advocate that I think there should be a mandate on paternity tests. I'm a firm mandate on that. I'm also a firm. Okay. I do think there should be I just think that there should be a required paternity test every child that's born. Just my personal opinion. Okay. But like if the father is alive and the mother is alive, there should be a paternity test. Like, it should be. And we don't get to why I think that. I just think it should be. I think it should be required.
I don't think anything's wrong with that point, but I don't understand.
Yeah. So, but people think that's a big deal. So I'm also a firm believer that I do think that the decision to have a child there should be some percentage that is agreed upon by the man. And I have a lot of back on why I think that is the case. Makes sense?
So
explain at the moment. So in other words, if two people are together, and he agrees, and she's having a child, or she's pregnant, and he doesn't agree to have a child, it doesn't really matter what he agrees. It's her body. She has the child. He's now responsible. I think at the moment that he's saying, I don't want no parts of this, or etc. This, he should be released of all financial responsibilities.
I agree.
That's my opinion. And you can not like me for one, but that's just how I feel.
I agree.
However, I think in at any case, in any capacity, a man has no right and any privilege to tell a woman what to do with her body. Period. It is her body. I think we should like. I'm seeing all these rules and all these. God, like, nah, I'm not with all that. I'm not with all that God intended. That's great. That's cute. Miss me with that. That literally is her body. You don't have, and I'm pro-Christian. I don't give a you know what. That's literally her body. It's her choice. If she doesn't want to be a mother, if she's not ready to be a mother or whatever it is, it's her decision. The government should have no parts into it. I actually agree with so watch this. The flip side is I kind of agree with the other side, though, with the Republicans, is they don't want government funding to go towards it. I kind of see that side. Like, I think the government should be totally not involved with it. Mm-hmm. And so in that case, no offense, that means if you can't afford to get it, I'm so sorry. But when I say government should not be involved, they're not involved. They don't make any laws. It's a woman's choice. Therefore, money towards it should not be provided. So I have and I know that's kind of controversial in that nature, but I don't think the government should be involved in mandating or not mandating what a woman does with her body. Period.
I don't disagree with most of what you said. What I will say is I don't think that the government should tell a woman what to do with their body, but I think it gets tricky when it's a man and woman's child, because who splits up the rights of that? You can't really split up the rights of the child. Although the woman's carrying the child, yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But to what percentage of it is the father's child too?
Got you.
If I don't want, like to your earlier point, if I don't want to be a dad, to what degree do I have control over not being a dad?
None. But it don't matter.
And that's what I'm saying. That to me is the problem. It's like if you're saying you want to have the baby and I don't want to have the baby, I should be able to allow them to say I don't want to have the baby. That should be a part of the conversation.
It is, but I don't think you.
If the baby's half owned by me and half owned by you,
but it's not. That's what I think.
Is the baby is. How is the baby not? If I'm the father, wait a second. If I'm the father,
got you,
of the child, and when a child is born, my daughter now, Jocelyn and Jordan, I am half that child's father right now.
True.
No, in Jocelyn's case, true. In Jocelyn and Jordan's case, they know there's no
that's true.
No space in which I'm not the father of Jocelyn and Jordan.
But you're the father. I'm saying I view it different.
Talking about fathers.
No, but I view it differently. I think if I have injected my sperm inside of you, that doesn't make you a father. That's why a difference. That doesn't make you a father. I'm saying, legally speaking, I think at the moment in which a guy says that I do not want you to have this baby. I'm not ready. I'm not prepared for this. At that point in time, he is absolved of all duty. That's what I think, how I feel. He should be. Legally, he should be. Which means he's communicating that I didn't prepare for this. I didn't plan this. I didn't want this. This is entrapment, whatever it is. I think he should be absolved. Because watch this. Let me flip it. Watch this. Because suppose it's vice versa. That's why I think it's a tricky topic. If it's vice versa, suppose the guy is excited. I want you to have this kid. And the girl's like, no. He has no authority here. He's now removed. And that's why I say it's a very tricky topic, because there are cases in which the man, this was my chance. I really wanted to be a father. I really had an opportunity to be a father. However, she's not ready. And I said, fine, give the child to me. I understand that, sir. Unfortunately, she's the one that has to carry it for 9 months. You don't. She's the one that's in jeopardy of losing her life. You're not. You know, and I'm seeing the comments. Jam, I'm seeing your comments, but I don't think that both of those statements are, in my opinion, I don't think that those statements are aligned. I don't think just because I lay down with somebody, I lay down with somebody with the possibility of that don't mean I want to get an STD. I could choose not to get an STD.
And so did she.
So did she.
And if she went in not thinking she was going to get pregnant as well.
I don't like that defense, and I see it. I just never. It is a good defense, but to that defense, there's a lot of times that we don't like. We know the risk. True. When I get in my car, I didn't get in a car accident. I don't not drive because of that. You know, like there's always a risk when you do anything. I'm saying that I don't think that like it's a tricky thing when you come between birthing a child, especially as an educator, and seeing the impact of not having an active two parents in a child's life, or a parent that is qualified, that is ready, that is etc. That has the understanding. Like, there's too many kids being birthed that the reason why the system is failing is because of the lack of parenting. And so if you're not ready and you're not like etc., I think he should have some say so. I do agree with that, John. I do agree with that. The only tricky part is if you want to do percentage wise, that's fine. There's no way in the world if you were to mathematically say it, maybe he gets 10 and she gets 90, she's gonna win. It's literally her body. Literally, whenever a woman decides to give birth, she's putting her life on the line. She's changing her whole entire.
I don't disagree.
Yeah, I'm just saying. So,
but the only part I do disagree with is that I'm the father. I'm not the father when she has the baby. I'm the father when she realizes the baby's inside of her. I'm the dad then.
That's true.
I'm not the dad when I don't become magically the dad when 9 and a half months later. I'm the dad from the moment she understands that, oh, she's pregnant with my child. So at that moment, I should have half to say. It's not that.
I can't say that.
Let me finish. I hear you, but I'm just saying it's not that because you're saying, oh, I'm half the dad when the child is here. 9 months later.
No, I'm not even saying that.
No, you're not. But I'm saying that's what you should be saying. You're not. You're not half TJ's child father. You're not half London's dad. I mean, come on, stop it. Like you don't believe that. I am half my. I did not sign up to be a dad to be a 30% my child's father. I am 100%. 50% dad, she's 50%, Javia's 50% for Joshua and Jordan. Period. 9 months later or 9 months before, I am that for my child.
I agree. I just don't think that so what's funny is it's weird because I agree with that. I agree that 50% that you are as a dad, you're 50% responsible when the child is here or whatever. I actually do agree with that. But I just don't agree because I understand the issue with the other side of the aisle is they don't understand the impact on women's bodies and what they're sacrificing. You can't, in my mind, you can't be 50% responsible if you don't have 50% of the investment. And as a man, you don't have 50% of the investment. You got 2 minutes, if that, of the investment into producing that child. So at that point, to me, you can't get 50%. You cannot bear 50% of the decision making because literally the entire process of that from that point on is on the woman. And so I don't think that I just don't think that a man at that point should have a responsibility of choosing. You can't have that child because 50% is mine. Nah, that's not true because you ain't the one that's going.
If you guys don't know, we actually have more than just Terrence and I on this podcast. We have none other than the one and only Dr. Mike as well as part of this podcast. And I'm so excited to hear what Mike has to say. Dr. Mike has to say.
He might be the difference maker.
No, I mean, just I want to make sure it's equity. Is that the right word? Did I use the right word there?
It is good.
Is it equity or is it equality at this point?
I don't even know anymore because I feel like I used to believe I do.
Actually, John is advocating equality. I'm advocating equity. That's a good job, Mike. Good job.
I like what you did there.
Didn't mean to, but that works. No, my opinion on it is like, okay, I see both point of views, but I'm leaning more so towards, okay, the issue is, should men or lawmakers be deciding what women should do with their body? Right. I don't think they should. I like the fact that you mentioned, Terrence, about like the man should be able to say, hey, I don't want responsibility of this because I'm not ready. There are women out there that use situations like this just to collect the check, right? Just to get money out of the man at the end of the day. And whether people like to, believe it or not, it's like, oh no, it's not like that. The men, are trapping women, whatever. No, like there are women out there that are legit scheming folks. Like they got like 5 or 6 different baby daddies, 5 or 6 different kids, and they collecting a check every month from these dudes. So that's the sucky part, right? So I agree in that standpoint. Like there should be something in place to say, okay, I shouldn't have responsibility of this child if I don't feel
Yes.
like, I am able to be responsible of, or I'm able to support this child. I'm able to, or I don't want the child, period. I don't want the child. She does. Okay. I don't want responsibility at this point. That's cool. But as far as like the people that are making the laws, if we're going to make laws about women and what they should do with their bodies, like have people on the board that can speak on women's behalf, right? To be able to speak from a woman's standpoint, to speak from a mother's standpoint. And to that vein, like kind of switching a little bit to my opinion on like what people should do about this situation is to let women have the right to abort. They need to have that right. Reason being, and again, Christian speaking on at this point, right? I get it as far as like wanting to be pro-life and not to abort a child, but what about those that are subject to rape, who are rape victims, right? And then now you got a child based off of somebody that forced this lifestyle upon you, has forced this child into your life. Like what do you do at that point? Now you got to deal with a whole nother scenario of like trying to raise a child that is fatherless, or that has some sort of that will desire to know who their father is, regardless of whatever type of situation that they were put in the first place, right? The kid didn't ask for this situation, but here we are. The kid is born into it, and now they got a dad that raped the mom and that sort of thing. You know what I'm saying? Like it brings up a plethora of like damaging mental and emotional situations that some women don't want to experience. So they need to have the right of whether they want to have that lifestyle or not later on, if they want that kid to have that lifestyle later on. Another example, like what about the women that go through like so many medically or like medical complications when it comes down to being able to birth a child? I think I was reading about a story at one point in time in the midst of all of this where like a woman had so many different complications where like she would consistently what's it called? When she consistently miscarried, like she could not carry the child full term. Mm-hmm. So now at this point, if she I think it was something where she had a kid and the things were looking good, things were looking on the up and up, excuse me, but the child would end up having like birth defects and not having a quality life. Right. So now if the child can't have a quality life, the parents should be able to make a decision from that point on. Right. Whether, if their child's not going to have a quality of life, what do you do at this point? Do you still birth them, into this world knowing that they're going to suffer? You know what I'm saying? Like those are the situations that come up where I think like people should have the right to be able to do what they need to do for their child in scenarios like that. Do what they need to do when it comes down to abortion and things of the such. So that's where I'm at.
It's tricky. And so to one of the points that have been made, I think that all that you said was good there, Mike. The reality is, I want to just restate, I believe that a father is the father from the time in which the mother realizes that she has a child born. A father, in my opinion, then should have rights to that child. I don't care if it's a mother holding the child inside her belly or not. I'm the father now of this child. Therefore, I have the rights. In my opinion, I should have the rights of what happens within that child's life. And to your point, whether I can afford or affordability becomes into question or whatever, all those things come into question because I am the father of that child. Now, y'all want to debate, or Terrence want to debate to some degree, well, it's 10 to 90% or whatever, 90 to 10%, whatever. I'm saying it's 50-50, whether it's at the first month of having a baby in your stomach or 9 months and the baby's like here. We got to stop with the like splitting hairs, in my opinion, because I feel like I'm still the dad no matter what. Whether
100%
like,
dad, 50% parent. Like,
yes,
that's what you're saying. Yeah.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. So I just think it gets tricky. Yes. I don't believe personally in abortion. I hear your statement about and let me say this: I don't believe in abortion only because of scripture. I think outside of scripture and what I believe as a Christian, I feel like I would have a different opinion. But I believe because I don't think Christian values support abortion, I don't support it. But it's like I begrudgingly don't support it. Does that make sense? Like I begrudgingly like I'm like I know scripture says it, and so I'm like I hear you, but I don't believe within myself. If I were to like separate scripture from myself, I feel like abortion should be a thing.
So let me comment right there. I actually don't believe in abortion. Here's the thing. I'm trying to find the right way to say it. Everybody's not a Christian. And so my issue always comes in our country, which supposed to be making no laws that establishment a thing of religion and force religion on people. Therefore, I can't make laws that benefit I'm a Christian and that's my faith, but I'm so pro democracy. I don't like the government doing things that benefit even just one religion. And I don't like the government doing things that are counter to what it's literally counter to what the First Amendment is, which is freedom of religion. And so my thing is it's in your documents. Make sense? It'd be one thing if it was not in your documents, if it was not in the Constitution, if it was not what this country is founded on, and all of our documents are Christian stuff. I have a whole different argument at that point. Nah, bro, our Constitution literally says our Constitution, the first chapter is Genesis. Our second chapter is Deuteronomy. Like, makes sense? I have a whole different energy. I will always lean on the side is that I feel like it is a faith-based decision, and it should be. I'm like that with marriage. I hate the government involvement in marriage. I'm like that with divorce. I'm like that with if these things are faith-based, they need to be left up to the faith and the institution of faith. I don't like when the government trickles their hands into that stuff. And so that's my energy. So while I actually do agree with John, personally, I agree with the scriptures of abortion, which is why I think the government should have no parts. Because our government is supposed to be Christian. Our government is supposed to be, it's not Christian. It's not. It makes sense. And so I always have
a separation of church and state, basically.
Yeah. That's my issue for it, whatever it is. And and I agree. So I do agree. It's always a tricky topic. I just hate. To Mike's point, I've seen so many scenarios, and I always put myself in his shoes. If first of all, I don't see us having 5 Democratic judges come May or June. It's not going no place. To be honest, we're gonna have the majority come May because I don't know when she gets. When does she get inaugurated? When does she take over as the new black judge? And I should know that, but I don't know. But whenever she takes office, we'll have the majority. We'll have 5-4. There's 5 Democratic judges versus 4 Republican judges. So if they would have did it, they would have done it now while Trump was president. It's not gonna happen, And so that's my mindset, right? And so all of that was important until she take office, and she's very liberal. Yeah, makes it she's like pro-liberal. So that's one thing. The other thing is I'm like I just feel like it's just I can't get past the fact that if you want that, it's just violating so much. I just don't. I don't know.
I get you. I definitely get your point. Like if we are, so we're able to like exercise or live out our religious views, whether Christian, whether Muslim, whoever, right? We're able to do that in this country freely. So if with that in mind alone, our laws should be, I guess, geared towards freedom in that sense, toward like not geared towards like a specific
religion.
Yeah, one type of religion, like you were saying, Terrence. Yeah. Like I totally see that, and I'm all for that. Yeah, I just wanted to say that. I definitely get that.
I know what I was about to say. Thank you, Mike. Yeah. If we were to make abortion illegal across the country, illegal, like which means for no reason you can't do it. I don't care what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And my daughter is pregnant, and the doctor tells, based off of what he sees lining up, she's going to die having this baby, and she's now forced to have this baby.
Yeah,
I'm going to go off. Like Makes sense. Like I'm going to be like, I see that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like that. I did it. My daughter now has to choose if the possibility of dying it could happen, and she has to go with that choice because the government says, God will find a way.
Because it's not like she predicted the fact that she was going to have all these complications,
yes.
right?
Mm-hmm.
There are situations where people are pregnant for the first time and realize, oh, okay, you got X, Y, and Z going on where you, like these things are going to potentially kill you if you have a kid, right? Like people don't, some folks don't have, I guess that precursor or that pre-knowledge before they end up getting pregnant. They find out what, like, during the process. Our bodies are so unique for each individual to the point where, like, certain things, yes, we by design, like by God's design, we're supposed to procreate, right? But with things happening in this day and age, like as our bodies are maturing, or not maturing, but evolving in such a way where like all these different chemicals are out here in our different products that we take in, whether it's through eating those things, through putting it on our skins, whatever like that, it's causing our bodies to evolve in such a way where we have complications. And people, you just can't possibly predict that sometimes. And when it comes up, what are you going to do? Now I got to go through with this this pregnancy, potentially dying at the end of it. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a sucky situation to be in. And I want to have the choice to be like, nah, I ain't trying to do that.
Yeah.
And Jan brought up a good point. And that's what used to happen a lot of times. Like, abortion is not going to place. It's one of the things where like, it's not going any place. And so, I mean, when it was illegal, it used to happen. It used to happen all the time, but it just happened illegally, And so it's one of the things where we're just too evolved. It's not. It's just too evolved.
So here's the thing. It's a couple of things that I want to say. Jeremiah says, where does the scripture say it? Thou shalt not murder. That's where it says it. And so murder, it can be a loose definition there, right? Because obviously the child is not fully born, right? But you're murdering the fetus, right? Murder is murder, right? So that's where scripture speaks to it, but it is an Old Testament, and not to get too like in the weeds about it, but it is an Old Testament, and I know we're not under the law anymore, we're under grace. So I don't see much scripture supporting it in the New Testament, but it doesn't mean that we should not go out and kill somebody. We all know that, right? So that's still to be true, right? What I want to also say though is this idea that abortion is okay. So what I am seeing now too, though, is that abortion is starting to be okay even once the child is being full born. And I know in Maryland they are raising it to weeks after the child is born, that you can still abort the child. So yeah, it's something that's on the table.
You're killing a child. Like
but it's no different.
It's no different, but like, okay, for the people that are saying, hey, I should be able to abort before the child is born. Like, aborting, when I think of it, is before the child is born. But you're saying after the kid is born, I can still kill this kid.
I will provide support and documentation. It's not law, obviously, in Maryland. But it's something that has been thrown on the table, right? And that's what kind of made me think about it, because I was like, well, how far are we willing to go with this? Because the realities are, well, what if I decide after the child's born, listen, I don't want to keep this kid. Like, is that too late? Is it okay to abort the child then? Or do I have up to a month before the child is born? Like, I mean, the idea of abortion, it used to be the first trimester, but we're getting loose in certain states, is what I'm trying to say. And of course,
to the fire department.
I mean, yeah, that's giving me but yes, I'm just all I'm trying to say is the things are evolved. The more we evolve as a culture, it's kind of like we're getting worse in our mindset of how we handle things that are issues.
Man, that's the danger.
Because we're like, oh well, abortion's always been right and okay, and everybody's been okay with it. How is it really all that wrong if it's right here? This is the issue that we're having, that I think we'll have. If it's right to do it in a 4-month period, a 3-month period, what's so wrong with doing it in a 7-month period, a 9-month period, or even after the child is born?
So I see the argument. Honestly, I see the argument, because like even the argument that people make is that you should count the cost before you get into the bed. but everybody doesn't count the cost for everything that we're doing. And like for everything that you do, we never count the cost. Like, and so I see that, John. I mean, I'm not saying I agree, but I do kind of see the argument. Like, like suppose, because most people do, like, it's 3 months or whatever it is. Suppose 3 months in it, I'm good, but then 6 months in it, and now I'm like, I'm starting to have I'm developing these health things. I'm starting to like have this issue with my weight. Not even that. The guy has become abusive now. So before I thought I had a willing father, and now I doesn't. He left me, and I had no reason of raising this child on my own. Blah blah blah. Mm-hmm. So now at 7 months, I want to abort this baby. Mm-hmm. Like like I see the argument. I really do see this argument. Like, it's just, and so and I'm seeing Alicia's point, but to me, it's always the issue if there's so many stories of women dying on the operating table. Mm-hmm. And that's why, to me, it's just like you cannot force. I physically have a problem with you forcing someone to sacrifice their own life to birth something that they don't even really want. And I can't make that as a force. I think if their love for God wants them to make that choice, I believe in abortion. However, I've chosen to follow God, and I believe in you, God, and therefore I'm making that choice to follow you regardless. I put my faith in you. You can make that choice. But who's not going to tell me that is Senator blah, 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 and Senator XYZ. Not going to tell me the choice. He's not going to make the choice. And I watch this. And the other thing about this, let me be very clear, and this is me speaking almost non-sober. You know how many abortions these Republican senators have had?
Almost non-sober.
You know how many abortions these Republicans, like all these girls they be sleeping with, they all their side chicks that they didn't had, or etc. And all of a sudden behind the scenes, like, you can't have this baby because I'm a senator. I'm a Republican senator and I work for this, so you need to have this abortion. But now you want to get on TV and be pro-life? Get out of here.
All I'm saying is that a lot of what I'm seeing in culture, and we didn't get a chance to hit a lot of the topics today, but yeah, this was great. I'm glad we had this conversation.
This is a good topic.
But a lot of what I'm seeing in culture is that we're pushing the envelope on every conversation. Every conversation is being pushed. So whereas it used to be that there's like, and I want to switch conversations at all because I want to let this be the main and ending topic. But where gender used to be 2, now it's like 50 plus 58 different genders. You know what I'm saying? More than that, really, because Facebook is actively saying, hey, there's new genders now, right? So we're trying to expand everybody's expansion and inclusion, and under this guise of all these different things, it's like, oh well, then even for abortion topics, where do we stop? Where do we actually stop and say, okay, you cannot, this is now killing. This is now, you're actually literally killing. No, you were killing truthfully, and I'm not trying to offend anybody or trigger anyone that might have had abortion. I want to be very clear about that. This is my own personal opinion. I believe that we are actually killing that baby before, even if the baby's born, and we kill it after. You know what I'm saying? I think it's no different. We like to make it different, but I don't think it's that different. So I can see everybody saying I'm pro-choice, and I'm cool with that. I really truly am, because we all have to make our own decisions about whether we're pro-choice or pro-life. I'm just saying I've really only aligned with pro-life because of my Christian stance. But if I was not a Christian, I'd be like, yo, pro-choice all day, because I understand what you're saying. To your point, T, like, yo, government shouldn't have a bone to fit and a bone to have in this fight when it comes to like what we do with our body.
That's good. Like, I agree. Like I said, most people fall in the middle. There's a lot of things where people are more conservative, and a lot of things people are more liberal.
That's interesting. I'm sorry, Alicia just said she's pro-choice because she believes God is too. That's a very interesting thought. That's a very interesting thought. And I don't know if you were talking to me just now, but that's an interesting thought, because I would have never thought that I would never associate pro-choice with God.
Oh, I see what you read the message that she says pro-choice as in free will.
Yeah,
so
I
like,
saw that. Yeah,
like being pro-life in reference to not killing, but being pro-choice in reference to free will, not allowing the government to decide whether I can make this choice or not.
Right. No, I get what she was saying. I just would not have aligned with pro-choice as a Christian principle.
Yeah,
that's good.
I wouldn't have said, but I hear what she's saying because she's like, yo, pro-choice, we're all given a choice, right? So that is, I guess, a fundamental ideology of Christianity, that we're all given a choice. But then I think the actual supporting documentation, in my opinion, for biblical conversations is like, well, we're not supposed to kill nobody, right? I can't go out here and shoot Terrence, even though I might want to sometimes, right? So that's I don't have that. I can do it, but I will get locked up, you know what I mean, and thrown into a Baltimore jail. I don't want that. So I'm just saying,
definitely not a Baltimore jail.
Not a Baltimore jail. Put me back in DC. You know what I'm saying? But that's a very interesting perspective of, you know, even the abortion lens, because I think so many people would think that Christianity is associated with pro-life, and Alicia saying, hey, pro-choice is what God will actually be endorsing more so. So that's very interesting. Either way, I do stay dragging. You're right. I'm consistent. I stay dragging Baltimore. What I want to make sure we talk about, as far, not today, but just in general, is that this conversation of like, can we not just always argue and actually have thoughtful conversations about all these topics? Like,
this is good.
I think the problem is that we don't ever just unpack, well, what do we think and why do we think it? Because I've heard Terrence many times say on this here podcast, on Al Gore's internet, that we should not, like, men should have no bone to pick or bone to say about what women do with their bodies. I've heard him say it time and time again. I'd be like, I don't agree, but I don't got time to deal with that right now. But today we actually had a chance to unpack, like, why you think that, and I was able to say, well, this is why I think differently than that, and it's okay to guys, it's okay to do just that, to hear somebody else's view, listen, and say it's okay. It don't gotta be like we're so different and oh my God, I can't believe you believe that. No, it's okay to be like, oh, okay, I never thought about it like that. Or
we didn't design this, we didn't come up with this podcast in the sense of trying to push different opinions or anything like that. We're just trying to open up the floor for people to be able to have the discussion and open their minds and their thought processes to different things. Even from us coming from Christian background, we're not sitting here forcing Christian views on nobody. We're getting people to like just think about it for a second, man. Stop and think about it from a different perspective, from different lenses, not just from a Christian lens, but just from different lenses overall.
Absolutely.
Right? So,
absolutely. And although we all are Christians, we don't always want to have only our singular lens, and we don't want to be a monolith on here, even though we all believe the same God or Christianity. It's still not Beyonce's internet. It is Al Gore's internet. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna offend everybody even more. I'm gonna say it's Rihanna. Rihanna's internet.
We have not had that.
We're gonna do it next week. We're gonna do it next week where we go pound for pound. Who has more hits? Rihanna.
Thank you for fixing that.
Beyonce. I fixed it. I said pound for pound. I know. I heard what I said. I heard it as it rolled out of my mouth. Pause. I knew what you would say. Listen, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for taking time to listen to the real, raw, and relatable topics that we talk about on the Realistic Real podcast. We appreciate you guys so much. If you love our content, please take a moment, head over to iTunes, say, hey, man, these guys are funny. They're fun. They're good. They talk about conversations. It's about abortion. It's about dating. It's about marriage. It's about all these type of things. Go over there and talk about how much we're killing it. All right. Take some time out of your day and do that for us. We really need it. It would help us a lot. We really would appreciate it. If you don't know, we're on TikTok. Terrence handles our TikTok account, and he's been killing it over there. Follow us on TikTok. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on Facebook. My name is John.
My name is Mike.
And John, I'm trying to figure out. Can you do that? How did Mike jiggle it in again? I'm just trying to figure out how was he jiggling.
See that right there?
No.
Yeah. I'm not ashamed.
Mike. Okay, Mike walked in with his tool out. Got it.
I'm done.
Thank you guys so much for listening.